Good day, everyone. We are back and most excited to be live right here with you. Oh my goodness, this has been a phenomenal week. Yes, I'm here, of course, with my amazing co-host, Althea David. And today, of course, we're not by ourselves because we have been rolling with some incredible champions. And so just to kickstart, I'm going to, get into a quite profound quote. Let's go. Althea, are you ready for this?
We are ready. Good hello, everyone.
I absolutely love it. Let's go. So social innovation thrives on collaboration, on doing things with others rather than just them or for them. Hence, the great interest in new ways of using the web to crowdsource ideas, or the many experiments involving users in designing services.
Wow. I don't know if there's a quote that actually just sums up what we're about to talk about today. And for those of you that don't know yet, today's show is called Zlto Means Gold. Okay, so of course, like Christine mentioned, and thank you so much for that awesome introduction. And hello again to everyone. Like Christine mentioned, today we're rolling with some different kind of people. So today we are rolling with gold. We are going for gold today. And just very quickly, I would just like to share that this, I'm going to say, team of individuals that we're going to speak to today really just embody this topic, this title, Zlto Means Gold. I mean, they have dug, they have gone in, they have deep dived, and now what we have today in our midst is going to be phenomenal, right? And so really just even, hearing that quote, Christine, rather, I think the part that stood out for me the most, experimenting and involving users in this design service, I think that for me is really, really crucial because, of course, the team has always put the community first, right? People has been the heart of this awesome innovation. And so we're definitely going to get straight into it. I'm super excited to be hearing from them and hearing them share. So I'm going to give it back over to you. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you so much, Alfie. And again, welcome to, all our viewers. Keep those comments going. If you have any questions specifically for this amazing team right now, please do pop those messages in the chat. So of course, just for everyone who has joined us, Zlto, of course, is an innovation that was birthed within our labs. It was birthed in, this amazing organization. And so it must have started somewhere. And so the question that I have, and specifically, I'm going to welcome our CEO, of Zlto. I'm going to ask our CEO, share with us, let's talk about the infancy stage of this amazing initiative. Over to you, Allan.
Thank you so much for having me. So definitely Zlto in the early days, I like to think that Zlto was created by the community, for the community. I mean, they literally got a lot of young people in the same room. I believe this was in like 2013. And the question was posed, what do you need to be successful? And some of them said, we need a space that we can go to so we can feel welcome. We want to be able to learn at like low cost. And we need a way for us to spend money without spending money. And I mean, when you hear young people say that, it's like, okay, what can we do about that situation? And then at the time, Art Labs was in partnership with Department of Social Development, and then they created this thing called the Youth Cafes. And the Youth Cafe was literally a place for young people to go and learn, and they can do various courses, learn about technology, just get exposed to entrepreneurship. I mean, I'm a Zafe myself, is what we called it at the time, Youth Cafe. And that's like in 2014. And then at that stage, they introduced this concept where it would be, would someone be willing to sit in the class in a leadership session of some kind and then earn, points or currency, and then use that to pay for additional courses. I mean, because now you got people thinking, we can give you access to money or an additional currency, but would you actually use that to enhance your learning? And that was the first use of Zlto. And we found that a lot of young people, I mean, I think the expectation was, to have like a couple of hundred people there throughout the year, the first year of the Youth Cafe, and there was a couple of thousands. I mean, they overshot that, and our labs then continue to have these programs. But then the question was posed, what can we do outside of the space now? Because we're in the space and we love it and we love learning and love using it, but there must be more. I mean, like, I can eat when I'm here, but what about when I get home? And the question was, do we maybe have to expand, our list of vendors, or we have to expand what Zlto can do? But how do you earn a currency that's primarily used in the space? What if people can be rewarded for going to volunteer? And that's when things really started to pick up. I mean, we spoke to some local vendors in the space around the Youth Cafe, and there was like a local barber that came on board. I mean, there was like a steers vendor that was like, oh, you can access with your Zlto in exchange for some burgers, and then things started to develop, and then we had like users coming through. And then we had teams growing, and then speaking to Meulen, and we're like, how do we grow this thing? And Meulen was like, look, we need a team behind this thing. And it's like, so Eleanor, what do you think about that? And it's like, I don't know anything about business or finance or entrepreneurship or anything, Meulen. In fact, people don't know this, but I don't know if he remembers the first time I met Meulen Parker. I was telling him that I couldn't do a task they gave me at the Youth Cafe. I was supposed to like do something with recycling, and then Meulen came and I didn't know he was, and they were like, oh, so Allan, where's your thing? And I'm like, I didn't do this thing. And that was like the first time I met Meulen, and Meulen was still like, yeah, you should be involved in this thing. So I mean, that's a different kind of insight there. So yeah, so that's like the origins of Zlto.
Oh my word! I love the story. So I mean, now we're very curious. Now after that experience, Allan, of course that has evolved, right? And so we would love to know, just like do an elevator pitch on your specific journey within the Youth Cafe. Over to you, Allan.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't often pitch myself, but
Let's go for it.
Yeah. Let's go. Look, I mean, when I got to the Youth Cafe, I was someone like, I did not plan to go study. I was not a fan of education. I mean, the Allan of that time is not the Allan you're speaking to now. If you had told me, the Youth Cafe exists, I would not have gone. My cousin told me it was a jazz cafe, and that's the only reason I went. I literally went because I wanted to experience some music. And the first thing they asked me was, where do I see myself in 5 years? And I kept thinking, this is the weirdest form of jazz, man, because I don't know any other song creation where they just, instead of playing chords, we're not going to focus on your future. It's very different. But then I started really learning concepts like social entrepreneurship. And again, look, I love Mitchell's playing. So that's the thing that people are talking about. People barely speak about entrepreneurship. Now it's like entrepreneurship, but you can do good. That concept didn't make sense. And then we had some sessions. And I mean, Conrad and Melissa at the time, we had sessions called Rage Against the Machines, where machines are like your problems and how do you solve it, and breaking barriers. If problems exist, that means opportunity exists. And then it was like, I think this guy Edson said something that probably changed my life. He was saying, I can only speak of what I know, I cannot tell of what I don't. Oh. And to me that was like, it makes absolute sense. If I don't know something, I can't contribute. So how many things don't I know, and how much things can't I contribute to? So at the Youth Cafe, it was literally like, then I'll spend the next few years learning everything or as much as I can so that I can contribute. Then I just, stayed at Art Labs. Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And of course, you could not have done this journey, by yourself. And we're going to dig deeper, on that journey. So I'm going to, hand over to my co-host, Althea, just to take us deeper. Over to you, Althea. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Christine, and thank you for sharing that elevator pitch there, Allan. So definitely, as you were speaking, you were making mention of, breaking barriers, and I definitely see this, I'm going to say young man as doing just that. Okay, so we want to hear a bit from your side, Mr. COO, let me get that right, Mr. Senzo, in your infancy stage. I know you were first a Zlto user, and not a lot of people know that story and how you actually are part of the team. So maybe how did you transition from being a user to now being Zlato's Chief Operating Officer? Over to you, Senzi.
Thank you so much, Althea. It's still weird hearing this title, because I mean, like, that's not something that you just used to But yeah, thank you so much. I think my story, as Allan mentioned, like when Zlto started to expand and going out and then the impact that was initially started in the youth cafe, it started to branch out to other places such as Kailicha, which is where I'm from. And I came across Zlto when I was still a tutor at one of the organizations there in Kailicha called Likamva Youth. I was a tutor there, and for us, it was all about just like making sure that people are, can at least have a better education, because sometimes there's a problem with schools in the township being too crowded. And we were just making what we think can potentially help someone out there. And then one day they just walked in and told us that, look, now while you're still continuing to volunteer, we're gonna add something just slightly different to like what you normally do, just come in, tutor, and then you go home. Now we actually want to reward you for like tutoring, and we're like, wow, this is something that we can actually listen to. And they're like, for you just continuing to come in and tutor and make sure that like the learners here are sorted, we're gonna give you Zlto every time when you come in. And at that time, I was fascinated by that concept, because I mean, we were just doing this from the bottom of our hearts and like just trying to make a difference where we can. And then now you come across this reward element, which sometimes people don't underestimate, because as much as you want to volunteer and give back, but sometimes your parents, they expect you to at least contribute something to the household when you come back, because they see you waking up in the morning and leaving. So there's that sort of like expectancy, you're just doing this thing and wasting your time. So it was, I would almost call it like a match made in heaven, the volunteers and Zlto, because now at the end of the day, now we can continue doing what we're doing, which is tutoring, but be able to buy like rewards. You can buy groceries, you can buy like airtime, you can buy, and those things were such a crucial things for us at that stage, because we're not generating any form of like income. So this sort of like subsidized our cost of like living. And then I remember I didn't even have a phone at that time, but I just knew that like I want to be part of this Zlto thing. Like even if I don't have a phone, I'll ask someone. So in the first initial phases of me as a Zlto user, I used to ask someone else, look, can I just use your phone just so that I can earn? I can log in just to earn and then leave. Every time when you tutor, then take pictures and then upload those pictures to the platform. So, and then the journey started from there, and it really showed that it's possible, because sometimes people are like making reasons why they can't do certain things. But like, I think for us, it just made sense for us to use Zlto. And then that's how I came across Zlto. And then from there, I think the passion just grew. Even when I was still a student at university, it made sense for me to continue to use Zlto, and the passion for doing good started to expand. And I went to university and even tutored there instead of like just tutoring in Kailicha only. And the funny thing is that even today, I still get requests, even though I finished university a couple of years back, like 3 or 4 years back, but I still get people that are got my number and they want like me to come in for tutoring. I'm not sure how effective they would be if I were to go back. I'm not sure how much I still remember. But I think it's again highlights the passion that can be ignited by a platform such as this one, where someone is doing good. And then with that little bit of like incentives, it can propel you to want to do more and look for the next thing that you can do in your community. So yeah, me tutoring went on to even university, and I became a tutor, and I got trained also there at university. And I think that's where the passion grew. And then a few years later, me using the platform, I managed to get like quite a number of Zlto on the platform. I used to call Allan, even like when sometimes there's issues with vendors, like, yo, Allan, this vendor doesn't want to assist us. Is there something that you can do? It seems like this, how about you add also this to the platform? That we think that will be really beneficial to that. And then I guess from there on, that's when I then, Allan just called me one day and said, maybe you must join the team. And I'm like, yo, like this will be great. And that's how I then got involved like with Zlto. And then from there, we started off like as a small team, but it's amazing how much we have grown, because now we have over, how many people, 13 people, 14 people?
14 people.
There are 14 people that are part of like this Zlto team. from like such a small number, and like it's been amazing to just see other people's journeys as well, including like Kesha, who's sitting next to me, who's gonna hopefully share her story. But it's been amazing to see what Zlto has been able to do, and like you can see the consistency in terms of like taking a young person's life and then transforming it and putting them out there to be part of this amazing platform.
Wow. Like you mentioned, Senzo, a match made in heaven. I definitely have to agree with that. And thank you for sharing that. I don't think a lot of, the users and even just the audience today knew that story and that, deep dive into Zlto and how it has evolved since then. So thank you for sharing that. And remember, no excuses, right? And so even in this way, Zlto has done amazing work and still continues to do amazing work. So I'm definitely gonna give over to Christine to take us into the next section. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alfie. Thank you, Senzo, for being open to share, for being open to share your story. It is so powerful. So many, individuals who of course, they study and they move on. And I'm happy that you chose that. Actually, I think Zlto chose you with reason, of course. So, if I think about hope, that is definitely one of the core values that Zlto has definitely adopted from Art Labs, that we are absolutely obsessed with hope. And so we really need to hear from the amazing young lady, sitting, or at least that joined us today. We would love to hear just how has Zlto impacted your life? Yes, over to you, Kesha.
Okay, thank you. So my journey with Zlto was so unexpected. I found Zlto through Art Labs. I came for a beauty course and I had no way to pay for it at the time. And then I was just directed to go to the Zlto room, but with no understanding what Zlto is, I thought, okay, this is going to be my first date ever in my life. And nobody explained it to me. And then that was the very first time I met Allan, and Allan was so friendly, it was so nice. And it was just like, hi, I was just directed to come meet with you. I don't know what that must happen next. I was registered onto the Zlto platform and I paid for my course and I was able to complete it. I got my certificate and everything. So that's how I met Zlto. And then I joined through a program at Nespers Labs in Delft. And Zlto was there as well. And it was so amazing because Zlto was there to buy lunch. You could buy coffee in the morning and, your donuts. Everybody loves donuts. Yeah, and it was so amazing because I still didn't fully understand how Zlto is just gonna help me until a point in my life where I really needed now to, get something on the table or buy electricity just to help my family out. And Zlto was there. It was really amazing that Zlto gave me hope that there are platforms out there, there are people out there that are looking out for the communities. I didn't expect to be working here, but I was so excited. If Allan can remember the first day I was told that we're gonna work together, and I was filled with so much joy because what Zlto does is so amazing. It gave me a lot of hope that I'm not just gonna be at home struggling to find work and all of that. But it's really been amazing.
Thank you so much, Kesha. I mean, it sounds like you were misled, but you know what? Are we not happy, Allan, Senzo, and Alfie? Are we not happy? You can still do your makeup, you can do all of that, but we are happy, to have you join the Zlto team.
She's beautiful, Christine, at the end of the day. I think that's what counts. She came for a beauty course and she's beautiful, then the rest.
Oh my word! And the rest is definitely history. You know, just to get into of course, during the pandemic, many organizations, many companies had to close shop, right? And we as Art Labs, as Zlto, you know, we were very privileged, you know, to still have work, right? And so you know, we really just want to know from this team, you know, share just how Zlto had been a beacon of hope during crisis mode. Over to you, Allan, and of course, Senzo and Kesha, you are most welcome to answer to. Over to you.
Yeah. I mean, I'll kick us off. So definitely, we did a few things. Like when lockdown hit, I mean, one of the things we did was we realized that we have a platform that encourages people to go out and volunteer, so they have to leave the house. And then the government says actually no one should leave the house. You know, so that sort of, so normally you'd be like, yeah, we're probably gonna lose a lot of users. But at the same time, we suddenly have people wanting to do more things because, like you mentioned, they might have lost their jobs, they might not have money, and now suddenly they're wanting to come to Zlto. Then we as a team decided that what if we adapt one of our features on Zlto at the time, which was surveys, and we thought, what if we try nano courses? Like, can we actually allow people to learn from home using the Zlto platform? And then we tested it, and then we helped them curate a few courses, and it would just be simple things like what to do during lockdown. You know, how do you keep busy? How do you start the side hustle? Like, how do you pass a job interview? You know, things that people can just do from wherever they are. And then we were able to issue out since launch, like probably over like 700,000 certificates at the time, probably even more than that now. And that's from an experiment. And then at the same time, we had like a lot of users jump to the platform. So instead of us users dropping off, we suddenly had in probably like the first 12 weeks, we had like another 30,000 users jump, you know. So we were, on that time, we were on, almost want to say 30,000 users. And that's when the pandemic started, like in 2020, like April, March. And then now we're sitting on like, you know, over 100,000, all because of like lockdown. And so you see, even in struggle or lockdown, there's opportunity. And like our Zlto user base has shown that they want to do stuff, man. Just because, you know, the country is struggling or society is struggling or there's lockdowns, whatever, it doesn't mean that we suddenly don't want to work. They always want to do more. They still want to learn. They still want to work. Yeah, and I think I'll maybe pause there.
Thank you so much, Allan. I don't know, Senzo, Senzo and Kesha, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I can add.
Thank you.
So, in my opinion, like from being a user to working now behind the scenes with Zlto, it's really been amazing. You can really see the impact that Zlto is making on people's lives, especially during the Essentials campaign. A lot of people, like the word of mouth was out there. Zlto was the need to know, you have to be on it. It was very beneficial to everybody because we had like hamper vouchers, the butcher vouchers. That was really helpful to a lot of people. We even had responses of people just sending us like feedback to say thank you for being able to help them put food on the table. It really made them feel like there are still people out there looking out for like all over the community.
And I guess just to finish it off, I think during this period, it was a time where everyone lost their jobs and they couldn't generate an income. And then just seeing the amount of people that benefited from this Essentials campaign, where, as Kesha mentioned, we're issuing out groceries, electricity, airtime, just any of the essentials things that people would need, especially those that were sitting at home and were not able to generate an income. From that period, there were like more than 250,000 people that got access to food. And for me, that's like a massive amount. I mean, as Allan mentioned, we had like 30,000 people before that. Like now with those people benefiting and their household benefiting from like them being able to put food on the table, that has been like incredible. And then I think what was even more amazing for us is like seeing the amount of transactions that were also happening on the platform, because within 12 weeks, we managed to have more than 1 million transactions. So that's people that are coming to the platform, wanting to learn, wanting to buy, wanting to do just actions on the platform. We saw like an amazing demand. I mean, it's like our team like barely just made it out from that because of the amount of exponential growth that we experienced just within such a short space period in time. And within that, we also managed to attract a lot of like partners, which were quite key, because Zlto is all about collaboration and partnering with other organizations. So we believe that we can't change the world on our own. We need to work together as like collaboratives to tackle the world issues, because again, Zlto is just a platform, and what organization that we work with really do deserves the credit, and the users that are using our platform, our members rather, because that's like the much more term that we use for our people.
Wow. Thank you so much, to the Zlto team, really for their hard work, and thank you for not giving up on your community, even when, you have probably had, a good excuse too, but, thank you to you and your team, Allan, Senzo, and Kesha. I'm going to hand over to Althea, who's going to take us to the next level. Over to you, Althea.
Thank you so much, Christina. And I have to agree with you, Christina. We have to recommend the team, right? Throughout this whole chat, they've been thanking, the members, the community, as well as the partners. And so we really want to express from our side, like our gratitude toward you for not giving up, for sometimes having those sleepless nights, and for seeing it through really as a team. And so we really love to know and share just some milestones and pivotal moments within Zlto, because we now know that they are an NPC, and the team can definitely, elaborate on that. And what did this mean for the team? Over to you. I think it's Allan.
Yes, my name is Allan. Yeah, no, I mean, so definitely like transitioning to like a NPC or non-profit company is one of those things where, like at Art Labs, there's a lot of entrepreneurship, happening and training and those kind of stuff. So for me, it's always like, this is proof that the system works, man. Like, because if you look at like our backgrounds, I mean, except for Senzo, we don't have a lot of experience in business. But I mean, so to get people, especially like from our backgrounds, to do something like that is also it's not possible, man. Whenever you think of like a tech startup, you don't think of like, the Cape Flats, the Kasi, you're not thinking like that, man. You think in Silicon Valley. And now suddenly it's like, that's the only people on our team. And you see, that's already different. And then it's like, we're the same people that's in the area. Like, I'm buying a loaf of bread, then I'm going to go and work on Zlto. That's like, that's already like a crazy concept. I mean, even for our parents to understand. So us registering, it shows that you can take an idea, birthed by the community with an organization like Art Labs, get a group of young people behind it, that believe in the dream, and actually go and register it, man, and allow them to actually to really lead this thing, man. Because I think that's always the difficulty, where it's like in society, there's a lot of what I want to call like token leadership, man, where it's like, it's pretending, man. People pretend that the thing is successful and whatever. Now it's like, no, this is actually our COO sitting there, man. It's like, there's not gonna, the older gentleman is not on his way, man. We're here now to discuss this thing. But also like registering the NPC allows us to actually have a bit of independence and to stay focused, because I mean, Art Labs is doing amazing work, and I mean, there's goals and things that they want to achieve, and Zlto can sort of narrow our focus and focus really on these young people, and helping them get more employable and improving the platform and those kind of things. And we'll definitely still be working with Art Labs, and our goals are always aligned. But it's just that we have our own team, and this is what we're going to do full time. Let's see, how do we get more young people to gain experience? How do we get them to learn more things? But how do we get them to believe more, to understand more? And that's what we're going to do full time. It allows us to take on our own clients and different kind of partners, etc. But it's also not an easy thing, man, because like I mentioned, we all like young people, and we've got Art Labs and the team advising us, so that I don't know how we would have done without it. I mean, it's not a new, like, you can't just wake up and suddenly, we must run a company, man. But so that's the thing. I mean, HR policies and all that kind of stuff. But I will say it's an interesting journey. This is literally only like month 3, if not month 2. I mean, December, I don't know if that counts as a month, but a lot of time has passed, or not much time has passed. It's literally January, and we probably started moving full-time on Zlto like November last year. And it's an interesting journey, man. But this is just to show other people that it can be done. You see, there's a lot more programs or projects sitting in other organizations and other companies that they're thinking about. Look, should we spin this out, man? But can it be done? How possible is it? And it's like, no. I mean, if the Zlto guys can do it, then you can do it. You know, that's more our aim, man, to show that it doesn't matter if you're super experienced or inexperienced. You can learn what you need to learn, man, as long as people trust you. Yeah.
And I guess just to add the second part to the question, which is around like milestones and achievement, I think there's definitely achievement that we have achieved without really even being registered as like an organization on its own. So I think now there's definitely much more pressure to go on and overdo these things that we've been able and humbly able to achieve in the past, because we've been really blessed to been able to won things such as like the Google Impact Challenge in South Africa, which is like a big deal. And we won like the UNICEF Big Thing Challenge again. But these are not things to really brag about, like what we've really been able to achieve. It's more of like, again, showing that it can be done. You don't need to own like an office in Waterfront for your thing to actually be successful, to have been, you can have an idea birth out of like the Cape Flats, and it can actually go out and conquer the world and go to other countries. So I think for us, it's not really about like the awards and stuff. It's really, again, about showing like to community that it can be pointed out in the communities where we come from. The people are almost like winning and living a good life. And they're not so good role model, your gangsters, your people that are committing crime. But it's such a good thing to actually show that like a business can come from the Cape Flats and can grow up and actually go out and achieve amazing things.
Wow. So modest. Hey, I just think they are so modest, Christine. I didn't see it coming at all, but thank you so much for sharing, lady and gentlemen. I really am touched. And you know, the thing that of course stood out, and I believe, you know, Allan has made mention of this in many of the interviews that they have appeared in, and being online, trust youth to lead. And I think that is really just resonating with us once again. Like, we can see the fruits right in front of us. We can see it. It's there. It's tangible. Trusting youth to lead. And wow, you guys have done, you ladies and gentlemen have done amazing work, and keep it up. I mean, because you've identified that this thing is not easy. You are being honest with yourselves, man. You know that, okay, this thing is not easy, but we're still going to do it anyway. And for me, that's amazing tenacity and perseverance. So well done once again, Team Zlto. Definitely, Zlto means gold. Definitely going for gold. Just one last thing from us. If you could please share, how can members get involved? How can partners get involved? Very quickly, and then we will wrap it up. Over to you, lady and gents.
So like the ways that people that can get in touch with us, we do have an email that we prefer, and like if organization want to partner and work with us, we do have info@zlto.co. We have to like now be official. In the past, we used to just send Allan's number. Sending me, please call me, please call like partnering. So at least now people can get in touch with us at like info@zlto.co. We do have like our social media platforms like Zlto Rewards on Facebook, Zlto on Twitter, Instagram, Zlto Rewards. So there, and LinkedIn, we're also there, YouTube, there's just like multiple ways that you can reach out, and we are always willing to listen to people. And we do also have a website that also had a nice get in touch with us, zlto.co, just as simple as that. And yeah, people can start the conversation, and always keep to collaborate and partners we mentioned earlier on.
I'm also trying to get a MySpace account started for Zlto, but they say you don't want to do it.
One brick at a time. One brick at a time. One brick at a time. Senior Al, aka the CEO of Zlto, Allan. Thank you so much for joining us today. Senzo, Kesha, and Allan, it's really been phenomenal. And just for those of you that might have missed it, info@zlto.co and as well zlto.co online. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining, just being engaging with us, definitely answering all the questions as they are coming in online. Thank you so much to my rather amazing co-host once again for being with us. And we will see you either 1 p.m. or 7 p.m. Stay tuned on our social media. Thank you once again. Have a lovely day further. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.